Oh baby, it's summertime. The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, and you know what that means. It's time for short sleeves, shorter shorts, and sitting in the sun. Summer is one of the most maligned seasons in men's clothing. It's too hot to layer many of our favorite jackets, and pants no longer feel wearable. What the hell are we supposed to wear during the summer? In today's Classic Americana style guide, I'm going to talk about the 5 important staples to keep you looking classy during the summer heat. First things first, let's look at shirts. I'm not going to tell you to put on 4 layers during the summertime. I'm not going to tell you to Ralph tuck, to carry a denim jacket over your shoulder. I don't know where you live, but where I live, that many layers is basically a health hazard. I do feel it's worth pointing out though that there is a place for long sleeves or for pants during the summer. When these are strategically deployed, they can actually be an asset that can be used to keep you cooler. Especially if a shirt, a long sleeve shirt, or a pair of pants are in a sufficiently light and cut with enough room around your body, they can actually oftentimes be cooler for you than the shorter or more revealing options. So let's get right into it. I'm going to split shirts into 3 categories: long sleeve button up, short sleeve button up, and of course, t-shirts. Long sleeves are going to have the obvious benefit of keeping the sun off of your arms and off of more of your skin. It might seem scary to put on a long sleeve shirt in the middle of the heat of summer in July or August, but trust me, it can actually be very beneficial. This is the reason why you see so many construction workers and other guys who spend every single day outside in the sun for their jobs wearing long sleeves even in the summer. Now, what long sleeves you personally choose to purchase and integrate into your wardrobe is going to depend. The most obvious recommendation is going to be a linen long sleeve shirt. This has been especially popular recently with the growth of the old money aesthetic. Everyone wants to look like a character from The Talented Mr. Ripley. I know I don't have a lot of personal experience with linen shirts, but I know that I've seen some ones that look really cool to my eye from Thomas Farthing or from Cathcart London. And I think that these a little bit more historically inspired pieces can be a good option that keep you from looking too much like you're trying to pretend you're on like vacation in Italy or in the middle of the Mediterranean. They can kind of look a little bit more set to a time and place, not so contemporary, and I think that can be really beneficial. It helps you avoid that Pinterest mood board look. The 2 fabrics I'm thinking about purchasing for myself are going to be seersucker and madras. More on madras later. We're going to continue to cover that, especially when we get to the pants section. But when it comes to seersucker, I know a lot of people might be scared of the candy cane, like the white and blue stripes, especially in a jacket and pants combination, looking like a character out of Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, or maybe a little bit of Colonel Sanders. But I find that especially when you get away from those specific pieces and that pattern, and you move to more towards something like a shirt, you can actually kind of get away from those negative stereotypes, and then you really get all the benefits of having a seersucker fabric without any of the kind of negative connotations. Seersucker is going to be really great because the way it's designed, it has these natural ripples in it that kind of get the fabric off of your skin. That way only part of the fabric is ever touching your skin at any given point in time, and this allows for greater airflow. Obviously, a lot of the fabrics are cut very light, sometimes 3, 4, 5 ounces. I really like this option from J-Press here with the button-down collar. It's styled in kind of the way that an OCBD would be, but obviously without the Oxford cloth. And I think that this is a really classic, strong look. In this dark blue color, I think you can escape a lot of the negative connotations if you're afraid of that look from seersucker. But if you're willing to embrace it, and my actual personal preference might be for the classic blue and white stripe, because on the shirt, I think you can kind of feel free to move into that or kind of push into that a little bit more. Now, let me address another potential objection. Why the hell am I telling you to wear a collared shirt during the summer? This is actually a really good hack for staying cool. Collared shirts, or what we might call like traditionally made shirts, are going to be more structured because of the nature of their construction method. And so what this does, this structure inside of the shirt actually helps get the material of the shirt off of your skin. It puts more air between your skin and the actual fabric of the shirt, which allows for more airflow, easier sweat wicking, etc. Now, when we're looking at short sleeve button-ups, it's important to acknowledge the fact that there's already a much less formal, much more laid back kind of vacation vibe with a short sleeve button up like the one I'm wearing right here. Because of that, I think it's best to embrace this with a camp collar like this one, or a more dramatic camp collar, a shark fin collar, a shawl collar, just anything that kind of cuts away and embraces that relaxed vibe. It's going to help remove some of the structure from your neck, kind of open up that neck area. I could hypothetically unbutton this top button here, and it would really help just continue to air out and open up the shirt. This option that I'm wearing here today is from Freenote Cloth. It's the Dean 2-pocket shirt, and it's actually in a really cool 88% cotton and 12% silk blend that I think is super interesting. I was able to get it for a great deal. There's still a few left on their website. It is so crazy light. It's so comfortable. I've also been enjoying some fun, a little bit more mature takes on the Aloha shirt. I really like this option from Freenote Cloth as well in this blue. I really like that blue and red color in 100% rayon. I also really like this cool alien option from Mr. Freedom. Really unique. It's from their recent Area 7161 collection. Still a little immature, but it feels different than like the really tacky graphics or sometimes like the Disney characters or whatever that you might get on a traditional Aloha shirt. And if you want something a little bit more classic, also really like the shirts from the Japanese classic brand Sunsurf. They do some of the best high quality Aloha shirts that I've been able to find. Okay, so t-shirts are where there starts to be a little bit of disagreement. You might want a heavier weight t-shirt when it's hot to really soak up some of that extra sweat, or you might want an even lighter and more breathable shirt to really let the airflow go. In my opinion, when it comes to t-shirts, less is more. I want it as airy and breathable, if it's not already clear at this point what my priorities are, as possible. And so because of that, I really enjoy the Stanley t-shirt from Mr. Freedom. It's in this super light, stretchy cotton fabric. It is so thin and so breathable that in certain lighting, it almost, when you, like if you hold it up to a light, for example, it almost looks see-through. I also really like that it's cut with a 1/4 sleeve. It's cut like at an angle up here. It gives you a light, cool vintage vibe that a lot of guys try to go for when they cuff up their sleeves. But that, in my opinion, can almost look a little try-hard. And so the Mr. Freedom shirt gives you that same cool cropped sleeve look without actually having to roll the sleeves up, try to keep them up on a regular t-shirt. So shirts might be the most popular topic when it comes to summer fashion, but now I think it's time that we move on to the most controversial one, shorts. Before we break into my controversial opinion on men wearing shorty shorts, I want to remind you that you can find all of my high quality beginner guides and articles over on Substack, plus the premium monthly podcast where we're currently going through the book behind me, Amatora, How Japan Saved American Style, is coming out every single month on Substack on YouTube for premium members. So without further ado, let's get into some shorts. My acquaintance JB recently got into some hot water over on Twitter after posting some of his recent outfits with shorts. He got in some hot water for wearing shorts with a long sleeve up on top, and also just generally got a lot of hate for posting outfits that I guess were not deemed as being cool enough or interesting enough to post. And you know what? Despite all the controversy surrounding shorts, my general rule of thumb is anything that sits above your kneecap and still covers all of the regions that you need to be covering up for the sake of your own modesty is pretty much okay. So if you want a 5-inch or even maybe like a 4-inch short inseam, and as long as everything important is covered, that's fine. If you have longer legs and you want to go for more of a 7 or sometimes even a 9-inch inseam, as long as they fit you well, I also think that's fine. The most important detail that a lot of guys get wrong about shorts actually isn't the length, it's actually the width. Way too many guys and way too many contemporary shorts are cut way too narrow. And I think this is easier to break away from in a lot of the shorter shorts you'll find. A lot of these, especially from vintage styles, often already come in a wider leg opening. But it's important with longer shorts too, especially you don't want to look like you took a pair of slim pants and cut them off right above the knee. A pair of shorts needs to be appropriately loose around your thigh. One of the reasons why so many dudes feel so negatively about shorts is because of how popular these goofy looking, long, or sometimes even just medium length, skinny shorts are. Shorts are a practical piece of clothing. Wear them like that. You need room to move around. Let's get the craziest option out of the way first. The Capital Century Denim Pleated Jorts. These might be the craziest, most interesting, I don't know, most fun shorts I've seen that have come out recently. Capital does a couple cool different shorts. I like the ones with the bone embroidery on the side as well. These are gonna be really wide, a lot on the longer side. And if you're into that right now, you know, as shorts seem to be swinging a little bit looser and baggier as far as trends go right now, then I think that this can be a really cool option. But maybe you don't really want to wear giant shorts. You're still on the small shorts maybe. And this is, to be honest, is kind of where I'm more comfortable too. For the last few years, the most popular menswear fashion guy short has without a doubt been the Patagonia baggies. Available in more dull or plain colors like black and gray, as well as every season available in a different unique loud pattern or color. These can be a really great option for a casual summer short. Depending on your height or your personal preference, they're available in both a 5-inch and a 7-inch inseam. But menswear patriots know we only rock the 5-inch inseams. There is a really big secondhand market for these if you don't want to pay full price, and this is especially true if you want to look at one of the bolder patterns from past seasons. It's usually not too hard to find some secondhand. Aesthetically, Patagonia baggies occupy a really cool middle ground. You can go all out and embrace the real Patagonia outdoors granola vibe, but in some of the more plain colors, they kind of just operate as a great everyday plain short. I really love how they have this cool general retro vibe without being specifically really pinned down or relegated to any specific era, and that's one of the markers of a really great timeless design. Patagonia is also the manufacturer of my second favorite pair of shorts, the Patagonia Heritage stand-up shorts. Originally, these were made from excess fabric and were so stiff and thick that, like the name would suggest, they were able to stand up on their own if you put them down. These are my go-to for like a casual canvas short. Originally, they were designed for rock climbing, and that's still often what they're used for. And because of that, these are still a great hard-wearing short, and these are my go-to if I'm looking for something made out of canvas. Now, if that $70 price tag looks a little steep to you, my second favorite when it comes to canvas shorts specifically is going to be the Redhead Beachcomber short, which you can buy from a Cabela's or Bass Pro Shop. These are also a little bit different looking. They're slightly shorter, maybe comparable to the 5-inch measurement on the stand-up shorts from Patagonia, but they also have some cool cargo pockets and an elastic waist, and they're 1/3 of the price, which makes them a really good budget option. Honorable mentions for shorts go to the Bronson Tiger Camo Vietnam War shorts and the Mr. Freedom UDT shorts, also in the Tiger Camo. If you couldn't tell, Tiger Camo is my favorite camo, and at different points in my life I have owned both of these shorts, although my Mr. Freedoms are no longer with us. It's terrible. I know. Now it's time to acknowledge that while it may be summer and while it may certainly be hot, I still like wearing pants. These days, with the way current trends are moving, we now have a lot of different lightweight, wide-fitting, airy pants that are now available for us to buy. I think almost any chinos are a great option, especially in a wide fit. Check out this article here to follow along with my search for the perfect pair of chinos. Today we're going to focus on 2 specific pairs of pants that I think are worth looking at. First is anything from Freenote cloth in the 11-ounce 1900s denim, but specifically the fit I have, which is called the Modesto. It's their vintage high waist, wide leg, straight fit. I've been wearing my pair non-stop since I got them in the new year, and these are such a welcome vacation from all of the midweight and heavyweight denim that is so popular in like the raw denim community. Personally, I run really hot, and being able to wear something lighter is such a welcome blessing and benefit. Freenote also has this same 1900s vintage denim. Freenote also has the same 11-ounce 1900s denim available in a variety of other fits if this one is just a little bit too high waist or wide for your preferences. The second pair of pants we're going to look at is something I don't have any personal firsthand experience with, and I'm just going off of vibes here, but it's going to be a patchwork Madras pant. When Jack Carlson took over J-Press and ran their recent spring-summer show, one of the things that really stood out to me was this photo here with these patchwork Madras pants. I thought it was so freaking cool, and now I've seen other similar options available from like Kyle James Patrick, for example. And I just think that depending on the color, these have such a cool, laid-back, kind of preppy, summery look. I really like the J-Press pair specifically because they have a little bit of a yellow or like a cream tint to them, and this really helps maintain kind of It tones down some of that like really bright preppy look, and I think that makes them a little bit more versatile and wearable, especially if I was gonna buy them and try to integrate it into my own wardrobe. When you're trying to address the endless summer heat, I really think one of the best solutions, especially if you live in a drier climate, is to cover up and opt for pants and a long sleeve shirt, like I said, as long as they're in a light enough fabric. Unfortunately, when it gets humid, there's really no escaping that kind of humid air. Maybe stay inside where there's air conditioning if that's what you have to do. So next, let's talk about shoes. No matter what you do, shoes are going to be hot. Boots are hot. Dress shoes are hot. Loafers are hot. Sneakers are hot. Basically, the best thing you're gonna be able to do is sandals. At a certain point, you basically just have to give up. Your feet are gonna be hot and sweaty. What makes the best outfit? How do you maximize the vibes? That is the priority during summer. Probably the most obvious choice, and also one of the most popular shoes in the kind of fashion menswear bro zeitgeist right now, is the Camp Mock. I basically think these can be worn alternatively with a boat shoe. Real preppy and Ivy fans might disagree with me, but they can make their own videos and extol the virtues of one over the other if they really feel that is necessary. Personally, I bought a pair of Sperry's at the beginning of this year as kind of a trial, an affordable way to try out that style of shoe. I had no experience with it, and I really wanted to make sure I liked it before I committed my money. I've really enjoyed wearing them. They're super comfortable, putting them on is easy. From what I've seen, they seem to be really durable and break in really well. Even Sperry's, which have that not as high quality, made abroad construction. So I'm now in the market for an authentic, real, made in America pair of Camp moccasins. I really like this specific pair from Oak Street Bootmaker. I recommended this to my buddy Jim at Cloth and Culture over on Substack, and he purchased a pair. You can see his article in his review right here. But I think that the brown chrome excel that these are made in is so beautiful. It is such a great like reddish brown color. The color of the leather kind of gives it a little bit more formal of a look than you might get out of a more lighter, something like a honey color. And I think that kind of a waxy pull-up leather that you get out of Chrome Excel is a great option for a shoe like a Camp Mock that you're really gonna wanna just beat up and abuse. And these are also super versatile because they work just as well with the shorts and the lighter shirts like this that you might wanna wear during the summer. And they integrate really well into like jeans, eventually flannels and stuff like that more towards the fall. And so these are really a great 3-season shoe between spring and fall, depending on where you live. They're a really excellent way to dress up a little bit more formal of an outfit. If you're especially daring, I think you could put them together with something like a blazer, an OCBD, and maybe even a tie. And at the same time, they're also a great way to elevate a really casual outfit like a pair of shorts and a camp collar shirt or even a t-shirt. The second shoe that I really am going to be enjoying this summer, and this is actually a shoe that I bought last summer and really enjoyed last summer, is the Huarache or the Huarache. I don't know exactly how you say it. I'm not gonna try to pronounce it in Spanish. These are a shoe that come out of Mexico, and they kind of operate similarly to a pair of Camp Mocks or boat shoes. They are somewhere between like a shoe, a loafer, and a sandal. And these specifically, because they're made out of strips of leather, they are very, very, very breathable. I did not opt for one from like a traditional Mexican company. There's actually a barefoot shoe company named Origo, and I bought my pair from there. I had heard that regular, traditionally made ones from Mexico ended up being super narrow. And because my feet are so wide, I didn't want to risk pinching my toes or anything. So I ended up buying them from this barefoot company to make sure I had enough room for my toes. I think that if you're wondering about how to style these, almost any outfit where a pair of Camp Mocks or Sperry's would be worn. I think these are a great alternative. I also think that these can kind of be integrated really well if you're used to wearing something, God forbid, like Hey Dudes or Crocs, or maybe if you fancy yourself a bit more of a fashion guy and you're used to wearing something like the Birkenstock Bostons. I think that a pair of Huaraches is a great opportunity to really elevate an outfit that you would normally wear with one of those more casual clog or mule pairs of shoes, and really give it a little bit more of like a Southwest, Wild West, relaxed vacation vibe. So for number 4, depending on where you live and how daring you are, you might want to look into some specific hats. Unless you're really wearing like a big old felt cowboy hat or something like that, most hats you're kind of going to be trading back and forth the warmth and the heat on your head for the getting the sun off and out of your face. I really like some of the traditional baseball caps from Ebbetsfield Flannels, especially in like lighter grays or white colors. I think those can be a great option, especially if you get them sized correctly to your head. They can be really comfortable for the summer. I also got this option here from Mr. Freedom. This is the ship cap. They also have a really cool trucker hat. This is made in a raw denim all the way around, which is really cool. It's supposed to develop pretty cool fades, and they all have unique different vintage patches here. This one is a military patch. They also have some really cool and unique like astronaut space themed patches, as well as just some general vintage patches as well, I believe. I would also look out for Troy O'Shea's hats, or you can look at Papa Nui. I will include these are both cool designers that make vintage inspired hats that I really think are worth looking at. So the final thing that we're going to be covering today, number 5, is tailoring for the summer. What the hell do you do about tailoring when it's so freaking hot outside? You know, if you're going to an event, maybe it's a really formal wedding, maybe it's church, like a church event, whatever it is specifically, and you're required to meet a certain dress code, at a certain point, you kind of just have to deal with it and embrace it. Wear what it is that you have. If you want to be as comfortable as possible and you need to wear a full suit, look for something in a linen or a linen blend or a tropical wool. Any of those are great options. But if you're just trying to look for a way to incorporate generally more formal style during the summer, I've been looking at this specific blazer from J Press. It's a tropical weight blazer. And I think that this is a really cool option. This can be worn with chinos, with a lot of the pants I already mentioned. It could be worn with something like fatigues, anything that kind of contrasts and give it that classic Ivy look. I am a little suspicious of how light a summer weight blazer could actually be. I've worn regular suits when I've had to during the summer, and you know, I've never melted, I've never dyed, and so I do think it would be an advantage to have something in that lighter weight. Although with how hot I run, I almost wonder if a tropical weight blazer like that in the hotter areas could almost be a 3-season blazer, like spring, part of spring, all of summer, and a good chunk of the fall, just because it gets so hot. I would imagine that especially during the day, you could probably get away with it, although maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it really is a super, super lightweight. Coming back to Madras, you could also look at a lightweight cotton Madras blazer. If you want to embrace, like earlier as well, the seersucker, you could look at getting yourself a seersucker suit or jacket. There are a lot of really cool options there as well. If you want links to the items that I mentioned in this video, go into the description. I will have my article on Substack that accompanies this video, where I will have all of the items I mentioned specifically linked so they're easy to find, along with a little blurb and description so you know what you're looking at. I'm putting out full-length videos like this for you every single month, as well as a variety of high-quality interviews and the monthly Classic Americana podcast, available both here on YouTube and on Substack. If you want access to all of the premium content that Classic Americana has to offer, either sign up here on YouTube to get access to all the videos, or go over to Substack and sign up for access to the videos and all of the articles all in one place. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys soon.